Hey everyone, I am your astrologer, Wonder Girl, taking you to new heights. Here is your daily forecast for the day of Saturday, March 10th, 2018. Now, what we've got going on today, the beginning of the day, is the moon hanging out right here at the last degrees of Sagittarius. Let me get my pen. Oh, that didn't work. Come on. The moon hanging out right here at the last degrees of Sagittarius, okay, for the beginning of the morning. Very early morning hours, okay? Bringing our attention to exploring, adventuring, trying something new in some way. With the moon that came over Mars at the very, very end of yesterday, we could have been feeling very active yesterday and into this morning, doing a lot of things, very passionate, wanting to get a lot of things done. If not, it could have brought up lots of feelings for us with moon on top of the sun, with the moon on top, with Mars on top of the moon. Sometimes these feelings aren't always the best. They could be some intense feelings that are coming up, but that could have been what was going on late last night into today. The moon also making a trine over here to Uranus and a square to Chiron, to really motivating you to do things, to break free from some things that were holding you back in some way, to assert your independence, okay, and to move forward, hopefully doing something that excites you in a much better way. I think maybe that's what was going on, is that we're trying to break free from some things that are holding us back, putting a lot of effort in to do that kind of thing, and maybe not feeling quite right also with the square to Chiron happening and the moon Mars thing. So that's kind of what we're coming into today with. All right. Then at 3 a.m. Mountain Time, the moon then enters Capricorn, where you see it right here in this chart. And what that's going to do, after we've been thinking about doing something new maybe and finding more of the passion in our life, the moon in Capricorn is more about putting your life in the right direction, taking some of this new and exciting stuff that you've been working on and building on. So now with the moon here in Capricorn, we're thinking more about where our life is going, how we can move our life in the right place. Of course, with Capricorn, increase your reputation, increase your social standing as well coming in. Also important to know that the moon doesn't necessarily like being Capricorn because it's at home in Cancer, the opposite sign of Capricorn. So it could also be a little bit difficult with the moon in Capricorn for us emotionally, especially if we're not willing to put in the work to do things, to get things done. That's a little bit of the reason why the moon doesn't like being in Capricorn. The moon likes being in Cancer because it knows that it's going to be emotionally cared for and emotionally nurtured. And when the moon is in Capricorn, we have things to do that are important that sometimes don't allow us the time to take care of our emotions. So that's what can make a moon in Capricorn hard, but really needing to put in the work, think long term, do the hard things when the moon is in Capricorn in order for you to come out on the other side feeling okay. All right, so that's what we could be feeling at 3 a.m. is just lots of work coming in with the moon in Capricorn, having lots of responsibilities, but needing to really own up to these responsibilities and put in the work, okay, in order to feel much better about your life and where it's going. Okay, so we have that at 3 a.m. Then at 11 a.m., as the moon is moving through Capricorn, it then comes into a square over here with Venus at the very beginning degrees of Aries. So what could be going on here is, as we're trying to do something to put our life in the right place, to feel much better about our life, perhaps we're not feeling quite comfortable about what's going on. Perhaps it's hard for us to then adjust our perspective, adjust our identity so that we can start to put our life in the right direction coming in, okay? So that could be a little bit of a difficult thing that comes in at 11 a.m. Really needing to learn here how to get comfortable, how to adjust to it is that you are to meet some of these demands of your life and where your life is going. Could also make relationships a little bit hard too with the square to Venus, but keep in mind relationships are already hard with Venus and Aries. All right, so could bring up some difficult things coming in here early in the morning. Not early in the morning, it's going to be 11 a.m. my time, in regards to relationships and maybe just being hard for you to feel comfortable being yourself with all these responsibilities perhaps that it is that we have and things that we have to get done. Okay, so that's happening there. Then at 5 p.m. we have the moon move a little bit further through Capricorn, come over Saturn, and then make a square to Mercury, also traveling very close to Venus at the same time. Okay, 5 p.m. Mountain Time. And that could again bring up some restriction when it comes to what you're feeling restricted, feeling a little bit held back, feeling like it's a little bit hard for you to do the things you need to do to put your life in the right place. But again, with Saturn being the ruler of Capricorn, okay, and the moon touching Saturn here, needing to own up to the work you have to do, take on the responsibility, enjoy the work, find a way to enjoy what you're doing in order for this to feel a little bit better, maybe than it would otherwise, okay, coming in. So you could be feeling a little bit restricted at this time at night with the moon on top of Saturn, and then as well, maybe it being hard for you to think about your life in the right ways for you to do the things that you need to do. Could also be some hard conversations as well that do come up at 5 o'clock at night with the moon on Saturn in a square with Mercury coming in, and just needing to be very serious about your life, take on some of the responsibilities, and think more long term instead of short term. And I think if you can focus on the future and how good the future can be, even if it's not that way right now, it's going to help you to get through perhaps some of maybe the challenging stuff that could come up today. All right, so that's what's happening there. Then tomorrow, so this won't happen today, but tomorrow at 8 a.m. Mountain Time, the moon's going to sextile Neptune. So after we had, I think, kind of a challenging day today with the square to Venus, Mercury on top of Saturn with the moon, I think tomorrow morning we get more of an opportunity to start to see the fruits of our labors, to start to understand, okay, a lot of these serious conversations, a lot of these serious thoughts that we had yesterday or today about our life, I think we're going to start to see it pay off tomorrow, where we start to feel like, okay, we did some things we really needed to do. We're starting to feel much better about our life. We're feeling much more comfortable with who we are on the inside with the sextile to Neptune coming in, now that we've done some things that we needed to do, taking care of some of the hard work, taking care of some of our responsibilities. Then tomorrow we can start to feel like, okay, maybe we can take a minute to catch our breath, feel better about it all. Okay, so that's what I see going on there. Now, other stuff that's going on, we do have, I did mention this briefly because the moon was there at the beginning of the day, Mars in a trine with Uranus and in a square with Chiron. So again, we're still wanting, I think, to do some things, to break free, to put our lives in a better spot, to assert ourselves and our independence more freely. I think we're wanting to do that, but at hurting. As we're making some big moves to do some things we really like, that really resonate with us, I think there's still some old things from the past that are catching up to us that we're trying to break through. I think there's some resistance inside us, emotional resistance as well, that we're also trying to get rid of. That could be a little bit hard here, and we've got like this one foot in the new world doing this new thing, breaking free, and we've got like one foot in the past, and we're still trying to overcome that. We're still trying to get past it over and over again so that we can feel better moving forward. And I think that's what's coming in. I think we're trying to make some last big moves here to start to finally, I said yesterday, overcome some fears so that we can start to feel better with where our life is going. Okay, we also do have Mercury and Venus still conjunct, so lots of conversations going on while we're trying to break free, to do some things that we really want, to put our life in a better place. Lots of communication, conversations happening either with yourself inside or with the other people in your life. Maybe about your relationships, about money, about what it is that you value and need to feel more comfortable, okay? With Venus being in Aries, a sign it doesn't like, some of these conversations, especially in regards to relationships or about your relationships and some commitments that you're trying to make, could be a little bit hard and a little bit uncomfortable, especially with the square to Saturn coming into very hard conversations, very hard things coming up in relationships in some way. Because you're having to think more long term, you're having to think more seriously about where you see your life going, about who you see your life with, and about what it is like, okay? And just needing to make sure that you're, paying attention to some of these conversations that you're having here, and that you're doing them in the right ways, or the ways that are best for you, or that you're taking them seriously so that things don't get out of control, okay? Because with Mercury going retrograde in this square, starting to, it's not retrograde yet, but it's in its shadow phase now with this square to Saturn, there could be some decisions that you make now you might have to rethink. So I would say just try to be as just try to be as diligent as you can when it comes to any commitments that you're making and some conversations that you're having, and try to think more about the long term and more seriously about what you want, so that you can avoid some of the more harsher, more negative aspects that could come here from Saturn in a square with Mercury and Venus, with Venus in a position it doesn't like to be in. Okay, so just be careful about that. All right, another thing we've got going on is the Sun in a sextile with Pluto here. I actually like this, the best aspect I've mentioned out of the other ones in the background going on, where I think there is an opportunity here to start to understand better what you want in life, where you see your life going, and to start to change your life in the right way, to finally start to feel like you're getting your life in the spot you want it to be in, to finally start feeling like you're getting the hang of your life and where you want it to go in. Okay, so I think even though we have a lot of difficult things going on, a lot of hard decisions, long-term decisions that we're trying to make here, and I think as we're doing things that are uncomfortable for us to break free, to get started on some new life while we're making some hard decisions, I think in the end it's going to be better for us. It's like underneath all of this hard stuff on the surface that we're doing here, I think we're like doing lots of stuff to feel better, and maybe we're having lots of conversations with people on the surface, and I think beneath all of that is like some really serious stuff like that we're trying to deal with. I think we're really trying to create more of a life that it is that we really want deep down below, with this Sun Pluto thing coming in. And I think if you can connect all of this stuff that's going on, like top of mind, like in your life, to some deep purpose of yours, to some deep inner spiritual like prompting, like change that's going on within you, I think it's going to help you to overcome some of these maybe more challenging things on the surface, to see more of the purpose hidden deep within them, and to really begin to point your life in the right direction. Because this Sun sextile Pluto to me is super positive, especially with Jupiter going to retrograde into this sextile to Pluto too. I think there's still lots of positive stuff going around to change your life in the better direction, in a way that really, really works for you, in a way that you really want to create a life that's good for you. It's just a matter of dealing with some of this hard top of the mind stuff that you need to resolve, and you need to make sure that you're doing in a way that resonates with you before you'll start to see all the potential hidden underneath all of this start to come out. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. Even if things are hard on the surface, even if it feels like it's hard for us to make progress, we're trying to make progress, it's not coming, you know, and there's a lot of hard decisions we have to make. I think underneath it all, if you're doing the Capricorn thing, putting in the hard work, thinking long term, there's so much potential yet to be had that maybe we aren't seeing, and that maybe we won't see till a few more months, but I think is going to slowly start to come together, I think, from here on out, moving forward, especially as I keep saying, with Mars leaving Sagittarius, with the new moon coming into Aries here. I think Jupiter retrograde is going to be very positive. So I do think that things are slowly going to start falling into place over the next few months as we move forward, doing some new thing and putting our life in the right direction. And it's just a matter now of trying to make sure that all of the stuff going on in like publicly is matching what it is that you're feeling deep down inside, so that you can start to create more of the life that it is that you want. Okay, so I hope that came together coherently for you all today with me filming this kind of late at night. All right, so that's what I've got for you there. Now your card for the day is the Chariot upright. I like this card. That's so funny. It kind of reminds me of what I think a lot of this month is going to be about, and a lot of next month. I think today, this card to me, is all about, I like to see steering your life in the right direction. That's to me a lot of what the squares from Aries to Capricorn mean, okay, is really having some big things that you want to accomplish in life, and maybe some big things you want to accomplish today with the moon in Capricorn, and needing to make sure that you are directing your effort, doing everything that you can to put your life in the right place. When I think of this, the Chariot card, sometimes I think of these two horses carrying a chariot, one going in one direction and one going in the other, and then it being really hard because the chariot can't move, being pulled in two different directions. And I think what today is a very good day for, that you could actually be very successful with, is if you start to get on board with where you need your life to go, if you have a direction in your mind that's important to you, and if you do everything that you can to steer your life in that direction. And I think if you can streamline your focus, if you can streamline your approach today, I actually think with this card upright, there's going to be a lot of progress you can make here to get some things done that you need. And if you can own the fact that you have to work and accept it, I think you really can get a lot of things done, make some big progress today, and feel like maybe you're doing some things that you need to activate the Sun sextile Pluto to create more of a life that it is that you want. All right, so that's what I've got for you today. Thank you so much for watching my horoscope. If you like it, please like it on YouTube, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends, and I will talk to you later.